Okay, next one. Now we're just using some numbers, straight up numbers, just to figure out the other angle. You have a missing angle. Clearly we're missing angle B over here, and we have to use those names from the previous video, if you watched it, to give us some idea. If we know our names and our definitions, then we can figure out some of these missing angles. I'm going to say this. I want you to put some names to these two. So we have this angle here of 154, and we have this angle B right here. And those two angles are clearly, I hope you got, adjacent. They are a linear pair, and they are also supplementary. And so from class, we realize that adjacent means nothing to us when it comes to numbers. Linear pair really doesn't mean anything when it comes to numbers, but supplementary means that these two guys add up to 180. So why not just set that up? We'll do a tiny equation real quick, and I know I'm wasting your time with that. Most of us have already subtracted, but if we do it just for some practice, at least your parents will know how. Subtract that 154 from both sides. We didn't touch the B, bring it down. We didn't touch the equal sign, bring it down. What's 180 minus 54? Hopefully you got 26 degrees. So then angle B is 26 degrees. If you add them both up, yes, they form 180. I'll give you that little skateboarding trick, right, for the half circle. If you go and do the half circle, how many degrees is that? Every one of you knows it's 180. And as soon as I draw that half circle, you know those two angles add up to 180. Next one, just for another one. Looking at these two guys, I see that they are back to back. I have two V's that are back to back. That means they are vertical. And if they are vertical, they are congruent. Congruent just means they are equal to each other. So if one of them is 46 degrees, the other is 46 degrees. There's no solving involved when you have vertical angles. Always look for them. They're awesome. They're easy. Next guy over here, number 3. We have 67. We have B. And wow, okay, let's name those two. There's nothing marked there. They look adjacent, right? But that means nothing when it comes to numbers, so I'm scrapping it. I could also come up with complementary. I'm doing that because of this little guy on this side, and as we promised in class, there's this guy on the other side, even though it's not marked. If one is marked, you can mark the other. We're not going to try to trick you. So that means complementary, 90 degrees. You can add 67 plus B equals 90. Subtract your 67. Get B equals 23 degrees. I know none of us want to do the whole equation. You don't have to. Of course, you can just subtract 67 from 90 and get 23 degrees. That's fine. It obviously just gets a little more tricky when we get to the next example and we have an expression. We have this 5x plus 4. You have to put that in. Notice the directions say find the value of x. I don't care that you now know that this is 54 degrees. That does nothing for us, unfortunately. We want you to solve this equation for x. So if you write down that these guys are vertical, you nailed the names, and you write down that they're congruent, you nailed both names. If they're congruent, set them equal to each other. Yes, 54 can equal 5x plus 4. That is our equation. You must now solve that equation. This really means 54 is equal to 54, but instead of saying that, we've given you this ugly expression. So let's start off by moving our 4 over here. Right? We have this guy going down the middle. 4 is on the opposite side of the 54. Do the opposite. If you come down, do 54 minus 4, you get 50. Didn't touch the equal sign. Didn't touch the 5x. Divide by 5. A little algebra practice here. I get x equals 10. You found the value of x. If you take a quick second, substitute that in, just to double check our work, right? 10 times 5, 50 plus 4, 54 degrees as it should be. 54 degrees. Last one for now. Naming these two guys, we get linear pair, right? We get adjacent. Neither of these really help me, but this one does. They are supplementary. That means 180. Correct? Move that guy over a little bit for us. I will then add them up, as you would say in class, right? This angle plus this angle equals 180 degrees. So 6x plus 1, change my color so we see what's going on, plus 2x plus 19 equals, and there's the missing number, 180 degrees. Do a little combining like terms, help us out here, right? 2x, 6x, so it's 6 plus 2x, we get 8x. Then there's 1 plus 19, we get plus 20. We didn't touch the equals, and we didn't touch the 180. Continuing that, now that we have a 20 on one side and a 180 on the other side, we want to get them together. By doing that, we do the opposite. So we didn't touch the 8x, bring it on down. Didn't touch the equals once again. 180 minus 20, 160. At this point, always divide by 8 then. X equals 20. We would want you to substitute that back in at times and find each of the numbers and make sure we're correct. I'm going to save a little time by not doing that right now, but at least we found our x equals 20. If you have any questions, find us, all right? Let us know.